We've all been there. You're sitting there Sunday night trying to think of how you can engage your students the following day. An assessment is coming up or an observation. You're racking your brain and you're trying to reflect on the last professional development that you just had. At that professional development, they talked about AI. But not only did they talk about AI, they talked about what it can do for you and what it can do for you in the classroom and what it can do for your students. But here's the thing. They didn't tell you how to implement AI in your classroom. Well, you're in luck, because welcome to the AI Faculty Lounge, where we talk about ChatGPT, Gemini, NotebookLM, and several other platforms in order to help you and your workflow as a teacher become more succinct, concise, and allows you to shrink down your time, allowing you to gain back your weekends and take back your time. That way you can spend it actually doing what you love to do rather than just being in the classroom. But let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and this is what we have. We have a standard right here. Students will use historic case studies and current events to trace how and explain why the rights, liberties, and responsibilities of citizens have changed over time. Based upon that standard, we're going to copy it and we're going to throw it into Perplexity. But before we throw it into there, we have to ask Perplexity, provide 3 sources that correspond to the following standard. And we're just going to paste copy. There we go. Now you're going to notice that in several of these AI platforms, there's going to be web, academic, social, or different settings. Perplexity is all about search engines and being able to search the most accurate information. For example, you're going to look at web, academic, social, and finance. Academic is scholarly sources, social is going to be social media, finance is finance, but we just want to search the web for these articles. We're going to click search. And so you'll see that overall, Perplexity has actually come up with 10. And so you can see that you can pick from any of these, but looking at these, we're going to look at the American College, and we'll click on that. And we're going to copy that source. This is NotebookLM. Notebook is a Google platform, but we're going to create a new notebook. And this allows me to be able to upload PDFs, JPEGs, audio files, MP3s, etc. I can copy and paste text. I can use YouTube. I can upload a website, Google Slides, or Google Docs. NotebookLM is a very powerful tool for you to be able to summarize massive amounts of information in a very short time. I just copied and pasted that website, and I'm going to paste it. I'm going to go back to Perplexity, and let's look at, let's do a PDF. So we have the rights and responsibilities and all this other stuff, and I don't know about you, but I really don't want to read 76 pages, so I'm going to download it, and I'm just going to save it to my desktop. And then I'm going to go back to NotebookLM, click Insert, and I'm going to click Add, and this time I'm going to choose Add that. I added the PDF because it was in my files, recognize it as a PDF, and there you go. And I'm going to ask it, summarize these sources and provide 3 insightful questions that correlate to this standard. And I'm going to go back to my standards, copy and paste that. And NotebookLM is going to sift through 75 pages of that PDF and that entire website. And shortly, it's going to populate all this information while it's looking at. If you're looking at additional information, again, I'm going to show you how to use NotebookLM by utilizing YouTube and audio sources, etc. But again, that will be at a later date. But as you can see right now, NotebookLM just went through all that information and is summarizing each and every one of it and how it correlates to that standard that we put in. And now notice each of these. These, you can click on each and every single one of these, and it's going to give you a source. You can shrink that, but it's going to continue to give you sources. Here's our 3 insightful questions. So I'm going to take this information, I'm just going to copy it, and I have a prompt already in Gemini, but you're a 10th grade teacher and you want to develop a project-based learning exercise for your students. Develop a PBL for them, and in conjunction with the following information, ensure the response is clearly articulated and organized in an organized fashion. Keep the output relevant and on task. Additionally, you want to hook the students and get them excited for the project. So what I did is you follow the craft prompting method. And so we'll go more into craft, but what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you have all this information, your output is going to be what you want it to for your students. And here we go. I'm going to paste all that information that I just did. There it is. You can see it's all in there. When it comes to Gemini, you're going to see you have the Pro and you're going to have the Flash model. On these specific elements, you want to make sure that you are going to have Pro and Canvas. And I'm going to click on that. And AI, Gemini is going to read through all this data and it's going to show you its thinking. Gemini is extremely powerful because not only is it going to be able to do this, but it's also, it can actually write scripts and code that are related to Google Docs, slides, and sheets. And I can show you how to do some of those in a later video. So, the hook. Are your rights guaranteed? Good morning, everyone. Take a look around the room. And this is what Gemini is proposing. So, if you want to do a project-based learning, this is what it has. And it came up with all of this stuff. Here's the rubric. And now what if, well, you know what? That's a great rubric, but differentiate instruction for gifted students, ML students, and SPED students. So it came up with that. Now I'm going to ask Gemini to revamp the canvas and to add those differentiating instructions for these 3 groups of students. So with that prompt, I now have differentiated instruction for gifted and talented students, multilingual learners, and SPED students. And then if I have additional information that corresponds to the standard, etc. You don't necessarily have to have that. And so there's several things you can do. One, you can export all of this to docs, or one thing you can also do is create an infographic. So let's just export all of this to docs. What's in the docs, you can go in there and you can change accordingly to what you want to do. This is kind of long, so you can manipulate it how you see fit and how you want to be able to actually use it for your standard or for your work. If we go back to Gemini, you can actually ask it to create an infographic, because some students are able to learn visually. And you can see that Gemini is actually creating the code to create an infographic. And there it is. So you can then share this with your students, share the canvas, copy its contents, and then if you are into that, you can manipulate the code however you see fit. So based upon those, you're able to actually create a whole project-based lesson, manipulate it, and tailor it to meet your specifications and your curriculum. And we used 3 AI platforms in order to do so. As we get further into the year and as we get further into the weeks, we'll see not only, again, how we can utilize ChatGPT, how we can utilize Gemini, how we can utilize Perplexity, and some other AI platforms in order for you to be able to take back your weekends, in order for you as a teacher to take back what your free time and not spend countless hours trying to come up with creative lesson plans that will engage your students when AI is able to do it for you. So stay tuned, and we will continue to show you how to be able to create content that is both relatable to your standard and also relatable and to your students, that allows them to actually engage with what you're working on. Also, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. In the description of this video is going to be the prompts that I used for you to be able to manipulate and copy for yourself in Perplexity, Gemini, and NotebookLM. We'll see you in the lounge.